Everyone, my name is Zino and welcome to the next part of the hardcore. Don't forget to like and subscribe to reach 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Day 201. I start the morning in the giant cave because in this day I decided me to remake the deep dark city from the new Minecraft update. I took my all emeralds from my old beacon and I took a lot of emeralds from my villager. After that I go back in the cave and I started to make a beacon. I made the beacon and now I need to make a way to the surface so I can activate the beacon. In the end of the day I arrive to the surface and that is very close to my island. Day 202 to day 203. I activate the beacon and I place on that haze 2. After that I start lighting the cave where will stay the future deep dark city. After that I found a natural generation fish farm. The fish are spawning in water and after that he fall out of the water and die. In the next part of that today I start to make a lot of terraforming here to prepare the place for the future deep dark city. Day 204. I made so much terraforming in the previous 2 days, but when I see the new structure of the deep dark city I realize that I need a lot of more space and I start to work again to make terraforming to prepare the place for the new deep dark city. To the end of day 205 I make a lot of terraforming and I hope that's enough so I can remake the deep dark city here. Day 206. Because I need candles to remake the deep dark city I need a honeycomb farm and for that I go to find a bee nest. After some time I found a bee nest and some bee very close to that. I took some flowers and I attract the bee to the bee nest. I placed down some flowers and I coach the bee in the bee nest. Day 207. I start the day by making some hoppers and I go to work on the honeycomb farm. I made a collection system and now I start to work on the structure and after that I start to work on the redstone part of the honeycomb farm. The rest part of the day I spend by making trade with my villagers to sell clay and buy quartz from that. Day 208. In that morning I start to work on the body of that building. Because I need a lot of dispenser to the honeycomb farm I start to make some. After I place the dispenser I start to make a lot of shears and I start to fill up the old dispenser with shears. I took some flowers from my iron farm and I start to place that. And to the end of the day I multiply my bees. Day 209. In the morning I start to work on the sheep farm because I need grey wool to my deep dark city. After a little bit time I finish to make a little collection system. I made some minecart with hoppers and I start to place that. I finish to place the minecart with hoppers and I start to place the grass. I made some observers and I placed that. To the end of the day I made some dispensers and I placed that. Day 210. In the morning I beat a creeper and after that I continue to work on the redstone part of the sheep farm. After I finish to make the redstone part I start to transport my sheep to the sheep farm. I caught some sheep in that tower and after that I transport the sheep into his place on the sheep farm. That was very hard because the sheep don't want to go in his place. I worked very hard and after some time I finished to transport all 6 sheep in that sheep farm. Day 211. Because I need grey wool to my deep dark city I need some grey dye and for that I need to get some black dye. Black dye I can get from squid. And I start to beat some squid. I get some grey dye and I go to make my sheep into grey sheep. And I got the first piece of grey wool. I return to my bees with some flowers and I multiply that. And I collect some honeycomb. I made some bee nest and after that I go to place that. Day 212. In the morning I go back down to work on the deep dark city. Because I don't need more the beacon I destroy that. After that I start to prepare some materials for the future deep dark city. I work hard to the end of the day and I make a big part of the bridge, but I go back to the surface because I need more materials. Day 213. In that day I go in Nether to collect some basalt because I need smooth basalt to my deep dark city. After I took a lot of basalt I think that's enough and I go home. When I arrive back in the overworld I make some cracked deep slate brick and after that I place some basalt to smelt. After I gather some materials at the end of the day I work on the tunnel from the deep dark city. And that's look like very good. Day 214. In the morning I give some fish to the cat which is spawned around the iron farm and now I have 3 cats. After that I collect the old wood I have in the wool farm. I gather some honeycomb and I make candles from my deep dark city. And I place it. To the end of the day I made another structure. Day 215. In the morning I start to work on some tunnels of that deep dark city. After some time I finish to make a starter structure of the tunnels, and I start to fill up the structure with grey wool. After that I go back to the surface to multiply my bees because I need more honeycomb. After that I go to check how many wool make my sheep farm. I continue to work on the tunnels of the deep dark city and I make the first wall. Day 260. In the morning of that day I continue to work on the walls of the tunnels of the deep dark city. After some times I managed to make a big part of the wall of the tunnels. I go back to the surface to multiply my bees because I need a lot of candles. I collect the wool from my sheep farm. Because that farm are slow, I go to my other sheep and I make grey sheep. After that I collect a lot of grey wool. Day 270. In the morning I collect my old pumpkins. After that I meet with a rendering trader and that don't give too much stuff. I go in Nether and I start to collect soul soil because I need a lot of. I arrive in the overworld and I start to make some soul torch. With that soul torch I make soul lanterns to my deep dark city. And to the end of the day I start to place a lot of soul lanterns. Day 218. After I made a bridge and a tunnel I decided me to make another tunnel to that deep dark city. And I start to work. After a lot of time I managed to make a big part of the tunnel, but I need more wool. For grey wool I go back to the surface and I start to collect that from my sheep. Day 219 to 221. In that morning I decided me to start to work on the biggest structure of that deep dark city, that are going to stay here. I start to work on that structure and that is too bigger for that little cave, and for that I start to make some terraforming on the top of the cave. In the meantime I go back to the surface to collect more wool. To the end of day 221 I finished to make the terraforming on the top of the cave. Day 222. In that morning I decided me to extend the wool farm because I need a lot of wool to my deep dark city, and in that way the sheep can faster grow up his wool. And in that way I gather a lot of grey wool. I return to my deep dark city and I finished to make the top of that biggest structure. Day 223. I start the morning again with my sheep by collecting more grey wool. I go in Nether to collect some glowstone because I need that to my deep dark city. For the rest part of the day I go back to my deep dark city. Day 224. I start the day by gathering a lot of obsidian because I need that for a special effect to my deep dark city. I gather 50 pieces of obsidian and that is enough. I gather some soul soil behind my portal. After that I collect a lot of cobblestone from that mountain. Now I go to collect some wood. In the end of the day I get a lot of materials to my deep dark city. Day 225. I start the morning by made some soul campfire. After that I go behind my giant structure and I start to work. After that I go behind my giant structure and I start to work. I made another portal and I activate that. And now we get that beautiful effect behind the giant structure. After that I place some chain in the tunnel of the deep dark city. After I work on a lot of details, in the end of day 225 I finished to make the entire deep dark city from the new Minecraft update, and I very like how it's look like. That was the next part of the hardcore. Don't forget to like and subscribe to reach 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible.